This tutorial is going to cover working with video filters in Final Cut Pro. It'll give you an idea of what types of filters are available with the basic install of Final Cut Pro, how to apply them, and how to delete them if you don't like what they're doing. So first we're going to go into the Effects tab here and show you where the video filters are. If you look under Video Filters, you'll see the basic video filters that are installed with Final Cut Pro. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the timeline here. Where the video filters get applied, you'll drag it directly from the browser right onto the video clip in the timeline, and then you have to make sure that you are working with this clip in the viewer window here to see the filter. So I'm going to double click this clip and make sure that it's in my viewer window, and if I go into filters, you'll see that there are no filters yet, but this is where you're going to be working with the filter that you apply on the timeline. So let's apply the first filter here, and I'm going to just grab compound blur, drag it down to my clip, and now you'll see the compound blur has been added. If you look into the canvas, you'll see that there's a blurring effect going on. In the viewer, you can change the amounts or the different parameters about the filter that you've just added. If you don't like the filter, you can select the filter and delete it, and then maybe try a different filter. So this is now a defocus filter, and we can mess around with the different parameters just to kind of get an idea of what's going on with the filter. You're going to want to make sure that the time bar is over top of the clip that you have applied the filter to, so you can see what you're doing in the canvas. Remember that you have to double click the clip in order to have it open in the viewer, and also click into the filters tab to bring up the different parameters about the filter. Now if you don't like the filter, you can select it and delete it. So what I'd like you to do is go through and grab a filter from each of the different filter categories and just see what they do. Like here's a border, you can change the size and color of the border. If we don't like that, we'll delete it. Bevel, and that'll give you these little angular kind of mitered looks at the edges of the video track. Once you get the idea of what you have available, you might be a little bit more in control of the video once you start to apply it to the timeline and apply some of the different effects and filtering that you can use to make a more creative product for your videos. One more thing that you're going to want to take a look at while you're doing this, if you'd like to play it back and see what the video looks like while you have a filter applied to that, you're going to want to render. So we're going to we'll go back to the bevel and grab from the icon to make sure you select it. And now we've added this, and if you look over top of your video layer in the sequence, it's got a red bar. That means it needs to be rendered. To render, you have the clip selected, or the area that needs rendering selected, and Command R is the render. I have to have it selected first. Command R is the render key command. It'll go through and calculate frame by frame what video effect you've applied. Because you've significantly changed the video, the computer can't do it in real time, so that it must render. And what rendering does, it's actually exporting the selected area here into a folder in your Finder, and I can probably show you that. If I click in, this is my project folder. When you set your Capture Scratch in Final Cut Pro, it also sets two other folders called Audio Render Files and Render Files. And what we're doing right now is actually exporting a version. It's a temporary version. This right here is a temporary file of what is happening frame by frame with this new effect applied. So I'm going to go back into Final Cut Pro, and once it's been rendered, it'll get rid of that red bar over top of your video layer, and now you'll be able to play it back once it's finished with the render. There we go, and now it's blue bar over top, and you'll be able to play it, and now each frame the applied filter. And my computer is kind of struggling right now because I'm also capturing video at the same time for this tutorial. But you would be able to play this back normally, and it'll have the bevel edges throughout the whole clip.